Good morning, happy Tuesday, hello. Hope you're all having a great day so far. We are here to actually do some programming on this project. Yesterday was not necessarily a bunch of planning, but setting up the CI/CD stuff. If we were to take a look at our issues that I set up ahead of time, this one, while there is a little bit left to work on it, it's not something that I'm really going to do on screen. Also, Vrizis gave me some hints on Discord, and so I'm going to take those into consideration as I sort of work on this off stream. But this is really a low priority because I don't really need a deployment system for a long time. But the build part of it is pretty important. So I'm happy that we have that, especially that it builds for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So instead, we're going to move on to the next thing here. So I'm thinking, I want set up the title screen is going to be my next thing. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. It starts, and there it goes. So the idea for this is, obviously I want the title screen. I want this to be, I also want to start setting up how we're going to switch between title screens and the main game and the settings screen. Potentially even set up how are we going to move between the main game and the settings screen, because that's also pretty important. When you press escape, you want something to happen, some kind of menu to pop up that allows you to quit the game or go to settings or resume, basically a pause screen. So we're going to have the state of play, the actual state in playing, but we're also going to have state of the actual just almost the pages, what navigation. We're also going to have a navigation state, which is going to be interesting because I also want to be able to go back, right? If I go into settings from the main game, when I press back, I want to go back to the main game, not back to the title screen. So that's going to be interesting too. So this is all about setting up the base part of the game, and then we're just, the title screen is going to be pretty simple, but that's going to be fine. So let's go ahead and set ourselves up some GGEZ stuff. And we're just going to start, and we're going to bring in things as we need them. So let's see. To get a blank title screen up, that's not going to really be that much. We have GGEZ. That starts loading in. I did update to the latest Rust analyzer. I was hoping that I could use the Viz thing, and I actually got a late start on the stream because I was playing with the .viz stuff, trying to install one of these to get it to work with Rust analyzer for the crate dependency visualization, but I couldn't get that working. That was too bad. So let's head on over to need a creator main library. So we're gonna have our main state here. Don't necessarily know what we're gonna put into here right away. It's probably gonna be whatever interesting stuff we need in there. Let's see, what else are we gonna do? I'm thinking, I've been playing around with another sort of pattern for setting things up. So an impl main state. So a pub function new to basically create a new version of self. And so that just returns self like that. And then a setup. And a setup mute self would run before we start the game proper, but we could then pass in context. And then this one can return a result, which means we need air. I'll wait until Rust Analyzer figures it out. Okay, there we go. Result with, we're not going to return anything in there. We don't need to. So in this case, we're just doing that. You're also thinking that we can derive default, which is fine. And then to make this actually taken in by GGEZ, we need to import the event handler for main state. Okay, so in update, what are we going to need to do here? Probably just nothing. So we're just going to return OK. And in draw, we're going to want to have like the background set up for ourselves. That can probably be hard coded, or we could just throw this into like the main up here. Let's see. So we're gonna first clear graphics, clear. And the context, and then the color. So previously, and all of our other games, we've just been using black, and I think we're fine with that. And then we're gonna do a graphics present, and then return the result of this, which is a game result. So that should be fine for this library. We can then head over to main and set this up now. Okay, so what do we need to do here to get main up? We need to create, well, we need to set up our window mode and our window setup. So that we can have like our title and everything else. We don't really have a game name for this yet. That might be something interesting to sort of like figure out what I want to call this. But we're gonna have a window setup. Now in here, interesting. Okay, so we can put an icon. I haven't really thought about icons. We have a default blank icon, but I wonder if I can do a better icon somewhere else. I don't even know what I would want it to be. Okay, so our window title. So this is gonna be the title of the window up top. So for right now, we're probably gonna call this the platform game with level editor. We want to probably change that to like a better name in the future. What else is there? So there's title. There's vsync. So let's turn off vsync to begin with, but we're probably going to want to like have that be an option. Oh, and that's it. That's all we can do. So that gives us a window setup. Okay, and then here could go borderless. We can set what our dimensions are, like what we're expecting to run with. I'm thinking if I do the size of well, I actually would love for us to be able to handle multiple sizes. That's something I've not done in a game before, is like allowed somebody to change things through like a settings screen. So I think that might be really nice. Also because I keep on running into the problem of not properly setting things up for the resolution for other people's computers. So it doesn't really work on other people's computers very well. For a default, I think we're 1920 by 1080. Let me see, what am I streaming out at? Yeah, 1920 by 1080 is what I'm streaming out at. 1920. Okay, so that's mentioned. What else do we got? Okay, so we can have a full screen type. So do we want this like to come into full screen right away? And then what type of full screen this is? I think generally prefer to over real full screen these days because it plays nicer with multiple monitors. Well, let's do that. We have multiple monitors here. So we can do a full screen type of that. We can do a maximized. So if I do maximized, if I set this to true, like we're default in maximized mode, which is something that like a lot of games do, is like force you to maximized, but then allows you to switch to windowed. That might be nice as well. Resizable should be false. I think that's already false by default. Because what I would rather do is do what most games have the option of, and saying like, oh, these are the 3 resolutions that you're allowed to choose, and then I can choose which ones that like I want to support. Okay, so we get that. Now we can create our context, and these are going to be mutable. So context and a mute. Events. I think it's the events. It's the game loop, event loop. Okay, so for this new one, now the game ID. So the game ID is going to be the folder that it places all like the game files and like save files and assets and everything else they want to save into. Those exist in like different places on different operating systems. So this is going to just figure it out and place it there. So generally speaking, like keeping Linux in mind, I probably don't want to use spaces in this. So we could call this just like BB platformer until I find like a better name for it, and then other. Now, is there anything else? Okay, so add a resource path. Add a new read-only file system path to the places to search for resources. So that could be like in the current directory. I think the current directory already exists. We could set the graphics backend. I don't think I want to do that right now. We're just going to keep it as the default, which is OpenGL, I believe. Oh, and then we can have our window mode. Is that window mode? We have Windows setup. Setup. We could have a comp file. I don't think we need that. So then we just build you, and we're good to go. So now we have. Oh wait, we need to in main return a result, and then we can question mark you, and that way get our context and events loop. KO2 fan, hello, how are you doing? Okay, so we have that set up. Once we have the context and the event loop, then we can get our main state in. And then once we have our main state, then I can run setup on it. Yes, still using GGEZ for this. Mostly, like, I'm using GGEZ for a lot of these, like, learning projects until Bevy is to a point where I trust it's not, like, changing too much. Then it's settled down a little bit. It's still, like, growing really fast, which is a really good thing. But at the same time, I don't want to have to, like, constantly relearn all the stuff over and over again. So I'm really looking forward to it being ready to go. Because, like, I feel that eventually I'm going to have to choose between Bevy or Godot with the Rust bindings. I sort of feel that, like, Bevy's moving in that direction that it could potentially take over from Godot. Maybe. Like, there's a long way for it to go for that, but I don't know. It feels like they might have that momentum to get there. Okay, so we have this main state. So then we can do a main state. You've been using RayLive for little games. Oh, interesting. I don't know about that one. Have there. So then we can run the setup for this. And then once we've run setup, then I think it's just events run. We hand it a mutable reference to the context, a mutable reference to the event loop, and a mutable reference to main state. And that's it. It's big in the C world, but it works on most languages these days. You're a contributor to the Rust report. Oh, cool. That's really awesome. I'm gonna make a note to, like, check it out. Most of the days, like, I'm only checking out things that, like, people that I know are, like, actually into and, like, looking at. Where's my two experiments? Here it is. Experiments to checkout list. So this is RayLive. RayLive for simple games / visualizations. Cool. Okay, so got this. And this means that we should be going now. So if I do a cargo run after we compile everything. There we go. Okay, so we have a full screen. It takes over. That should be fine though. So I can exit you, and then we're back here. So if I then wanted to, like, start having, let's take a look at what we got here. So we want to have, like, the name of our game, which we still actually do need to figure out what the name of our game is gonna be. The name of our game is actually going to be mixed into here. So I'm gonna do is create a, let's see, it's gonna be a, is it static? No, it's const. So a const, the name of the game can be name of game. I like it. Let's do that. Also, good morning, Oscarellin. Okay, so game name, you're gonna be a stir equals, here, let's do name of game. We'll do it snake case in proper Rust. Send in here in title, we're gonna switch this back to game name, so that makes you happy there. But then I want in, we can have like in new, pass in that. So over here, we're gonna store in game name, and you're gonna be, I guess you're gonna have to be a string. Yeah, you're gonna have to be a string, and then we're gonna create like the text fragments later in the draw phase. So this would be game name. I'm mostly doing string here so I can avoid doing anything with lifetimes. And we're gonna have the game name. It's gonna be a string. Actually, this one could be a stir. Game name is game name dot toOwned. Send in here, game name, just pass that in. Now it's not being used, so that's not really a problem. But if I want to actually display this out in our draw phase, we're gonna want to. We're probably gonna want to do like a lot of system-based stuff because I am thinking about using ECS for this. And we're gonna have to draw out like what exactly we're doing, what state that we're in. Now, that being said, I'm thinking of having like a draw manager for this because having just like a whole bunch of logic all throughout here to figure out like, oh, which things we're gonna draw pollutes this file. And makes it a little bit harder to sort of like see and understand what's happening, like where things are. Now, I want to be able to have a draw manager specifically for each screen maybe that we're in, because that might be helpful for us. Because then we can have like a navigation state, and that determines which one we're looking at. If I were to do this without that yet, we refactor into it essentially. We're going to do we're gonna build the game. We can't do a game mesh. We're gonna have to just build the text here. So this is gonna be like the game name equals, it's going to be a text new. Can I do something with text fragment? Okay, so create it from a string. So we're gonna do self dot game name. Now from this, okay, we can set the color that we want from it. So we can set it to color. We'll just set you to white for right now, but it might be good for us to like actually choose a color later. What else? We can set the font. The font. Okay, so you to be a font default. there's font default dot. Okay, this is what I wanted. Maybe size. How do I tell you? Or can I not do that? Oh, maybe I don't care about that. Maybe I just care about the scale. Then I can do scale uniform. Uniform, and we're gonna make this like 72.0. Then, now a font might be interesting because I can actually pull in an actual font and use that. That might actually be really, really nice. So that gives us, okay, that gives us our game name, which is a text fragment like this. And then I can do a graphics, draw, mutable reference to the context. We can do a reference to the game name, and then draw params. So if I just do this, it's going to draw it up in the top left of the screen. What are you upset about? Oh, text fragments aren't drawable. What else can I do? Can I into it? I forget how to turn text fragments into something drawable. So, let's see. There's draw queued text. There's all the text added via queue text. Okay, so that's queue text. There's queue text. It takes a reference to a text. With an option color, okay. Interesting, okay, so I can have like full control over that. Let's try just drop right now again. I want to try a reference to game name dot into. See if that works. That does not. It needs an actual text for this. It's a text fragment. Okay, yeah, they take a string and they turn it into, so that works. We can do a from. Oh, that's from like a text. Into. Okay, so from text font scale into text fragments. Oh, wait. I can do text, new text from a text fragment, can't I? Creates a text from a text fragment. That's what it is. Okay, so I have to do like new game like this. Then let game name text equals text new game name. That creates a text fragment for it. That creates a text for it. And then game name text. Don't need any of this. You cannot move out of self. Okay, so you could just be a reference. Or I could just clone you. It's probably for the best. Okay, now if I run this. There you go. So we have name of game standing up there. We also have like that little shifting that happens. I'm thinking that the way to handle that would be like just to wait for a few frames until things have settled down, as it's like changing the resolution from what the default is. Because I think it like the first few frames it just is doing that. We can't really stop that from happening. I'm okay with that for right now. Let's see. So if I want to now move this into like the center of the window, the way we would do this in some kind of draw system. Great grievance. Hello. Can I do pre-rendering? From what I understand, let's see, pre-rendering. So what does that mean in this case? Would that be like drawing once to like a canvas and then switching that canvas out? Or would that just be like creating an image and then just display the image with like the full screen over the image? I'm not sure. Drawing in text is either would qualify. So I can definitely create an image. Actually, we've done that a couple times before where we've like just created like an image of like a sidebar and then we just like told GGEZ just draw this entire image. And that was fine. I haven't done this like the batched text before. That sounds interesting. And there's also this idea of being able to draw to a canvas and then switch the canvas in. I don't think that makes sense either. Pre-rendering is a general solution for rendering stutter. Yeah, we definitely did that for a rendering stutter when we were like too much text, too many draw calls before I learned how to like just do one draw call to like rule them all. And like text drawing is pretty expensive. However, we're in the main menu, so it shouldn't be too bad if it's too expensive because I'm not going to be drawing these in like the main part of the game, or at least that's the idea. So, if I want to move this over into like the middle of the screen, I need like the width of this and the height of it. But I think we can get that. So we can get the like text width, text height equals game name text dot dimensions. Then I also need like the actual full window width and the window height. And then in this drop param new, we can do a dot dest and give it, I think it has to be a point. So that could be like this. And so our X, we want the center. So that's going to be screen width divided by 2. And then we want to subtract half of the text width. So text width divided by 2. And then for the Y, it's going to be exactly the same thing. So we're going to go for the screen height divided by 2 minus the text height divided by 2. So if we do that, we have some errors. Oh, right. Our text, look at these. These are U32s. Now, I don't think I can like do any kind of like casting here. I don't think I can just do something like F32, F32. Oh, I can. Okay, cool. Wait, no, I can't. Non-primitive cast as, oh, okay. So I can't convert in this way, which would have been really cool if I could. I also can't do something like an into because you can't automatically convert like use to F32s. So I'm gonna have to do this down here. So we have the text width, text height as F32. We might lose a little bit of data, but I actually don't think we're gonna lose any data here, and it doesn't really matter if we do. Not in this case. So if we rerun U, that is not where I was expecting it to be. So what is our current resolution? I want to see what our drawable size is. Let's debug screen width, screen height. So this is interesting. Our screen width is 2574 by 1466. So those are the actual pixels, but I've told it in the main window here that we're going to be based on 1920 by 1080. So let's imagine that we have this passed in here. Like what our current resolution is 1920 by 1080. So what if instead of using this drawable size, I just did screen width is 1920 and screen height is 1080. That's the center. Are you sure it's actual pixels? No, yes. Also, good morning, Danny. I wonder if this is because I have a 4K display on here. So I wonder if this is the actual pixels of the display and not the resolution that I'm caring about. I'd be curious if we head over here and we look at go to graphics. The decimals are weird for actual pixels. Let's go take a look at drawable size. See what we get out of here. Returns the size of the window's underline drawable in pixels as width height. Returns zeros if window doesn't exist. Well, it says it's pixels, but it's not based on the resolution. I wonder if there's a better one for us to use. We can get the screen coordinates. So returns a rectangle defining the coordinate system of the screen. So we can let's try screen coordinates. Let's see what we get there. So right now we're not using the screen width anymore, or screen height. So if I get rid of you and let's just debug graphics, screen coordinates. here we get the 1920 by 1080. So this might be better for us to use. And it's in F32s. Now, right away from the beginning, I want to grab this and just like die after the first pixel. So let's just panic. I want to see what this ends up being. 1920 by 1080. Okay, so I don't have to like worry about it like shifting suddenly over. Everything is exactly where we expect it to be. So what that means, we can grab the screen coordinates. Out of here, and then instead of this 1920 by 1080, this is now going to be screen coordinates dot w divided by 2, and you're going to be screen coordinates dot h divided by 2, and we should get exactly the same result out of here. It's in the center of the screen. All right, so that's good to know that that's how that's working. Let's see. If I want like the draw system sort of like handle this, because that would be like setting these up ahead of time, like maybe storing some of them away instead of having to recreate it every single frame. That being said, I don't think it's that big of a deal. At least right now. I don't imagine that we're going to have a too text heavy game, but we might also. All right, so if we have like the game name displaying here, and I want to, well, is there anything else that's even better than screen coordinates? Platformer visual novel. Also, good morning, Itsby. Yes, that sounds perfect. Let's do that. Platformer visual novel. I bet that exists somewhere. I bet somebody's done that. A screenshot would be cool for doing thumbnails for this. We should probably set that up. Yeah, let's actually add that as a story in here. So GitHub setup, ability to take screenshots to create thumbnails. And I think that's all I care about. I don't know how to use shaders yet, but that'll be cool once we learn shader stuff. All right. Now, I don't want to have to do this in here for all the things that we're drawing to the screen. Plus, we're currently going to be in the main title window, so we need to like track what window that we're in. On top of that, we're going to have multiple windows that we're in, so we're going to have some kind of state tracking. Now, we can only be one window at a time, so a finite state machine should be fine for this, which screams enum. So I'm thinking enum. Now, do I want to store that in the world? Like where we are, like what screen that we're on. So essentially navigation. I'm thinking navigation, we'd have like the main title screen. I don't know how to set this up yet, so we're gonna just go navigation, S. I don't think we need to do like a pub with this. We're just gonna use modification. And in here, we're gonna have like our default, like where we are. So navigation is gonna be a, well, not get ahead of ourselves. Let's actually go here. So pub enum navigation. By default, or like the first one, we're gonna be on title screen. If I want like I think I can derive default for this because it won't know which one to do. So I'm gonna just do impl default navigation. We're gonna return a self title screen. So here we can do navigation, here a navigation, and then self navigation. Default will automatically figure out what that is, right? No, what I want to do. Oh, I don't think we can do new. Oh, okay, never mind. That navigation tile screen default, and then we'll just pass in navigation here, and that will make you happy. Now we're not using that yet, so the idea is that in draw we can then only draw, like if we're in the title screen, go ahead and draw all this stuff out. Also in update, like if we're in a title screen, we're not doing any of the other stuff that we care about. That being said, I'm thinking that I want some kind of like draw system. Almost like a draw system manager, or to collect and hold all the draw systems together, and then it can choose which ones are going to be drawn at which times depending upon the state of like the navigation or the state of the game or the state of the player, because there's going to be a couple different states that we can have. So if I do that would definitely be a, well, it sounds to me like we're going to have states, like multiple states. So I'm going to create a states folder. I have a mod.rs, and I'm going to move navigation in here too. So in here, we're going to mod states now. This is going to be a pub mod navigation. And that, import you. That makes you happy. So now we can have like multiple states, like the navigation state of we're on. We'll also have like the player state or like object state, essentially. We can have like game state too in here. All right, so then what are the other things we need here? We have states. Oh, we have our draw systems. So let's create a draw systems. So I'm thinking we're going to have a struct for this, and it's going to hold all the draw systems together. So if there is any state that needs to be held for these, they can hold them. So this is gonna be our draw systems. I don't know what we need to like insert right now. We're gonna impl draw systems. And we're gonna store this away. So in new, we're gonna create that. And store it away. Now, when we go to draw, we're gonna draw it and we have to pass in what the navigation state is. And so to this end, the main page that we're on is gonna be just the title screen. So title screen. I guess like there's only one probably a draw system for the title screen. Togglebit rating with a party of 133. Welcome, 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 Togglebit. Togglebit, you gotta run. Old and terrible. Well, you've probably been streaming for a long time because you do those really long streams. So thank you so much for the raid. Glad to have you here. Welcome everybody. And also have a great rest of your day, Togglebit. Everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. There's enough of us. Let's go ahead and do a let's do a fun raid game. Let's do our let's see, what should we do? Probably the asteroids game. Let's code, let's build asteroids, run in release mode. I haven't updated asteroids game to use the new stuff, Utsby, so it's still the original. So we'll see how it works with this many people. But everybody, we here in this channel, we build a lot of interactive games and simulations and other things in Rust. This asteroid game is one of them. And what you're gonna do is just type anything into chat once the game starts. You'll be inserted in as a platform that will help me out, hopefully, and then you can change your like what type of help you provide by just typing into the chat one of the commands. So as soon as it comes up, we're almost there. Pretzel Rocks is too early. It was gonna help me. Now I have to survive an entire song. All right, so here we go. We see those available strategies, and I can go ahead and just play myself.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Thank you, Epic Blarg, and KO2 Fan,
Reinforcements have arrived.
Josh Finney. So how are you all doing today? It is a Tuesday, so it's no longer Monday, which is a good thing. Our the highest score we've gotten on here so far is let's see. Oh, I don't remember the score. It's level 10, I think. Maybe we got to a level 11 once.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Oh, I love that UFO just dies instantaneously. This is made in Rust and GGEZ, which is the newest thing that we're starting is also the same technologies. Oh, come on. There it goes.
Reinforcements How to ride.
Level 5. It's at this time that you usually start dying like instantaneously. Nightshade dude. Oh no! I've got 1 life. Oh, okay. I died.
Shoot the UFOs.
I died. But yeah, this is an example of the type of things we're creating. So we're gonna try to create a platformer game with a built-in level editor. So we're just starting out. We're just getting like the basics of what we're setting up for, and I'm trying to create a draw system for the main title screen. That's the first thing. A la Mario Maker. Yes, if Mario Maker had like a lot less features, then yes, absolutely. Also didn't run on any Nintendo hardware. But yeah, like that's what I want to do is like I'm slowly increasing my skills as I do this, and then with each project we're getting more and more complex. So if I have like these draw systems, like all the draw systems together, then I want a draw system for the title screen. So that's going to be a title screen draw system. And we're going to do I don't think I need to like public this. I think we just need to mod. I did a copy. Title screen draw system. Then we can come here and make this a struct also. Because this is where we can store like the information about this away. So pub struct. Title screen draw system. I think that we want to store our text fragment away. But name it that is probably not the best. This is going to be like the title text. So the title, just call this a title, and it's a text fragment. So in new, we need to come up with like the game name. Or I guess this would just be like the game title. And that's going to be a stir. We're definitely going to return something. Return a self. So let title, it's going to be a text fragment. New. Gonna put in the game title in here, and then we can do some of the other fun things. So color. I'm not sure what color comes in as default, but we want to actually set this ourselves. So right now we can just set you to be white. What else do we want? Font. I don't think we need to set a font for it yet. I would love to like find a font and then like actually set that, but that's now going to be isolated to here. Okay, so scale. This is going to be a scale uniform, and we'll just do 72. Now that might be something I want to like change depending upon the size of the, like what the resolution we're setting at. The actual text, well, we're doing that with the new, so we're fine. And that's it. Okay, so This is now getting stored away as the title screen draw system, which means we're going to store this way. Screen, a title screen draw system. Now I need a game title. Then we get that away. So I need a game title here. So this is gonna be passed all the way through as we're creating this. So in the main library, as we're creating the draw systems. Now we have the game name right here. So I don't want to store this here anymore. Now in our draw systems, we passed in the game name there. Don't store you. What are you upset about? Oh, default. Let's just not derive default anymore. I don't think it's been necessary for us. Okay, so in draw, we no longer need to do this stuff because we're gonna do it ourselves over in that draw system now. Imagine using a competitively fast language, built-in garbage collection, and memory allocation with smart pointers. Cries in C. Oh, is that C sharp? That's oh, just C. Okay. C pointer. C doesn't have built-in garbage collection, right? You have to do that yourself. Oh, just like C, but then has that. Oh, yeah, that would be interesting. That would, I keep on seeing people, oh, like Rust. Yeah. Okay, I get it now. I'm a little bit slow in the morning sometimes. All right, so if I want to actually draw this out, we need to know what the state is for our draws. So our tile screen draw system, if we have like a pub function, I don't know if like run is what we want or like do the thing. In this case, it's like run, display. I could do run for right now just to be consistent with everything else. I don't know if it's how much I like that. So if I have just a reference to self, and if I don't care about what this is because the draw system sort of like knows. Or if I want like, do I want this to sort of like know, hey, am I supposed to be drawing, or hey, I'm gonna be drawing at this point of time. I think let's just try this. I'm gonna run, we're gonna return a result, error result, nothing inside of it. So the first thing we need to do is create that text. Let our text, it's gonna be equal to text new, and then we pass in the fragment, which is the self.title. Rust is a really nice language, really fast, built-in memory management, smart pointers, garbage collection, energy efficient. Yeah, it's like that's one of the things I'm liking about it. Also, it's fun, or at least in my opinion, it's fun. Okay, so we create this text. Self.title cannot move out. Can I just give you a reference? No, I have to clone you. Okay, so then we have this title here. We have the text. So now we can do a graphics Now, what I probably want to do is queue text. So queue text, we need a context. So that's going to be passed in. We need the batch, which is going to be the text we're going to draw. So it's the reference to the text. The relative destination. What are you? You're just a point. So the point that's going to go here, so we need to figure out what that is. I think in a tile screen draw system, well, this one, I don't think we need to calculate it based upon the drawable size. But it's not really drawable size, is it? It's display size? What was it? It was graphics, screen coordinates? Yes, screen coordinates. Equals to, and so then we can say, okay, I want, let's say halfway across the screen. So that's going to be, you can actually just create that as a point here. So destination equals, it's a new point. So the X is going to be screen coordinates dot W divided by 2 minus text dot width divided by 2. Then we have the entire height thing too. So screen coordinates dot height 2 minus text dot height divided by 2. How easy is it to do graphics in Rust? So using something like this, not too terribly hard, but if you want to do like actual GUI building of stuff, not that great either. Okay, so text. Oh wait, are you coming in as U32s? It's F32. So there's a, are we a GUI yet? And so far it's not been, it's not been that great. Okay, so we have you, and then our queue text. Our relative destination is now this destination, and then color. What are you? You're an option color. Okay, so I think I already have a color in the text, so I think I could just give it none. And then what do you return? Do you return a result? Nothing? Like just that? Okay, so then what I want to do is in the title screen, we're going to have a run here. We know we're going to have to take into context. There's a mutable reference to a context. What? We don't need anything else in here. Going to turn a result, which is an error result. So in this case, it turns out we don't need this to return a result at all. None of these things have a question mark on them. So we can just do this. Remove that. Then in run here, we probably are going to need to do a result. And we're going to need the navigation. So navigation is going to be this navigation that we have. We could just have it be like a reference to it, so we're not like duplicating it. I don't know if it matters that much for like very simple enums like this. I don't think it really matters that much if we are cloning and copying it all over the place. And so we can match on navigation. If it's a title screen, then what do we want to do? If it's the title screen, we want to reach in, so self.titlescreen.run, hand it this context. Now at the very end here, we're going to have to do a graphics draw queue text, hand it the context, hand it a draw param, hand it a blend, that's a none, and hand it a filter mode. The linear nearest, that's it. Let's do linear. And you return a game result. There we go. So now this one we have to do the question mark. Why are you upset? It's never read. It's being read right there. Oh wait, because run's never been read. That's why. So in here, in graphics, we're gonna do self.drawsystems.run, pass it in the context, pass it in a reference to self.navigation, question mark u. Oh, but I can't question mark u because this returns a game result and we're returning an error. So we just have to do an unwrap. There's no more errors, so if I run this now, everything still works exactly as we expect it to. Now, if I had another game state that we added in, then we shouldn't get like any kind of drawing in there. So let's go to our navigation. Let's just add in another one here. So we have title screen. Let's see. What else would we have? We have like settings, for example. We have settings, then in the main library, let's say we're in settings. Now we should just have a blank screen running. Oh, it doesn't like that at all. In here, oh, we need to update you. In settings, we're not doing anything with this. So we just have a blank screen. And that's how we're going to handle moving back and forth between screens. We're going to just set what the new navigation is. We potentially need to do like an array or vector of those navigations so we know where we came from, and we can just like pop off, like push back on, and then we're just always taking from the end. But that will be later as we get to those problems. I don't want to like overcomplicate it too much right at the beginning. But all right, so we have, let's see what our requirements are. For a setup title screen, we have the name of the game, which right now we're calling it a, we're levelly calling it just a name of game until we figure out what the name of the game actually is going to be. Then I want there to be these options here, like play and settings, which is going to be interesting because I actually want those to be selectable, where we can like go up and down with the controller and select which one we're on. So drawing them out is probably going to be easy enough. but then knowing which ones we're selecting might be a little bit more difficult. So in our tile draw system, we have like the title, and we're gonna have probably like play. There's gonna be a text fragment, and we're gonna have settings. It's a text fragment here. Play text fragment new. In this case, it's just gonna be play. Let's say I do these like very similar. Color white. Now scale. Let's make this slightly smaller. So instead of, let's do something like 24. And I want play to be the same. I want settings to be the same. Now this doesn't tell them where they're going to be, but that's going to be fine. Play, settings. Then down here at run, this is going to be the title destination. And then we need the other destinations too. So let, this is going to be the play destination. So we're going to have the screen coordinates. I want this also to be in the center. So width divided by 2 minus. Now, we can't just call this text anymore. This is going to have to be, we can just do title. Then we're going to have play. Let's see, play equals, it's going to be text new self dot play, clone you. And then it's going to be the same pattern that we have here. This is going to be half of the width of play. So play dot width as an F32 divided by 2. Now the height we want to add by some amount. Now what might be easier is what if I don't actually have it be like the full center of the screen? Most games we have like the title up near the top. So I could just subtract by the full title height. So the bottom of it is hitting the center of the screen. And then I can plus, so like the center height. So screen coordinates dot height divided by 2 plus play dot height past the context as an F32. So it gives us that, and then we can graphics, do text. You're going to be a reference to play with a play destination and none. For the color, if I do this, should not have any errors. No, and now we should, oh, we kind of need to make sure that we're on default. And then when I run this, we should see now we have play here. I kind of like the idea of maybe having it be down at the bottom. So that's actually probably going to be just the full height minus, so the full height minus play dot height times like how much up do we want to shift it? Let's do like 4 of the plays. Maybe a little bit too far down. So maybe I want something like, I don't know, 10 of the plays. That looks a little bit better. And then we're also going to want to do the exact same thing for, let's see, what is it? Let's move these up here, and they're all going to be together then. That's that. Now I can just copy you. Do one more for so this is gonna be play. Actually, I can just like that, and now it copies all of those. This is now gonna be the settings. Okay, so settings, destination. So screen coordinates. So now I just want to move this down by like 8 instead of 10. And if we run U, there's settings right down below it. So now I have both these. I kind of like the name of the game being like maybe farther up. So let's say that I want this here. I don't want to just be height minus this. I kind of want it just to plus maybe like twice the title height. That would just be times 2.0. Then that goes to the top. We have play down here. If we eventually have some kind of image of the game that we want to like have in the background here, that would make it a lot nicer than just a black background. But I think that works for us. Now, we're also going to want to know which one of these is like currently selected. And how do we know that? We don't know that right now. We're gonna have to like track that some other way and then pass in like what is selected for this. And then we're gonna have to figure that out. Now I wonder if I want to do that with our observer sort of like system. So if I have an event system where when I'm in this mode, if I press like down on a controller, I'm just selecting, I'm selecting the next one in the system. So that might be like another enum or like on the title screen what I'm selecting. And then I pass in like what's selected into here. I wonder if that makes sense. The other option is like if I go into BBECS, which I haven't brought in yet. But with BBECS, I might store each of these things, like the information about them, in the ECS as sort of like entities. And then I can query for those Oh, I think that might be best. I think that might be best. So probably like a little bit of a refactor to start using BBECS. Then each of these can be entities in the game system. And when we switch screens, we clear out the entire ECS library and like re-add new things in that we're displaying. I think that's going to make the most sense. And then this draw system is going to be loaded based upon what state we're in, and then also what it finds in the ECS as it does the queries out. Am I about to make my own version of Bevy? I don't want to make a full version of Bevy. But it would be nice to sort of like learn how like the more complicated game engines work behind the scenes. That way when I use them, I'll be able to use them much better. Anyways, that's gonna be the plan starting next time. It is 8:29, so it's time for me to head off to work. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the recording for today. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.